themselves. There's a lot of people convinced they can't do something that they're actually pretty damn good at. All because of a thought, because they know they're no good at it. I know I'm not pretty, and then everybody goes, wow, she's really pretty. But she knows she's not. How ridiculous is that? So you can't know yourself. Therefore, you can't know God. Therefore, you can't know Spirit. Therefore, when you go stepping out of this body, you don't know anything. That's the best place to be. Because if you're not busy knowing something, you're busy being who you are. What would you rather be busy with? A bunch of known facts that cause you to feel like shit? Or the presence of your being to carry you on surfing through this ever-changing, lovely, beautiful world? It's just a choice. But it's one that's made for real. It's not a known, it's not an idea. A choice is not an idea. It's a movement. It's an act. It's a fully engaging activity. Thought is not. It requires you, your creation, and a big empty space to fill with your ideas about it. What be? Is that living? It's about being. Being so overwhelmed by what made you that when you look at somebody else, you get a hint that yeah, that's it. It's the greatest help you could ever give anybody. Is a glimpse that it can't happen. You know, I would like anybody on the brink of making it to get real public. To give people at least a light in the dark that, wow, this can still happen. People still can rise above in total conscious freedom from this maze out here. See, I think that's the Jesus story. That's the Buddha story. That's all these guys. I mean, there's bunches of them we don't even know. Those are the ones everybody knows. But there's bunches of them. I'd like to see them do it in public. Because people need to be a reminder, not just an idea. They need a fully engaging, conscious, energetic reminder that you are infinite. You are divine. And anything that happens in your life will only happen because you deemed it to happen. Not making a choice is making a choice. Letting life happen to you, you decide to do that. And when you do that, what ends up happening is you basically drop your guard and you become a pinball, bouncing off of everybody else's intentions, never having any of your own. One who gets into that kind of a habitual pattern, they go sideways. It's inevitable. They end up sideways. Anybody confused at all?
Do you think the most important habit then to break is the habit of thought?
I think the most important habit to break is the one that resists spirit. I think a lot of thought is generated when people feel they're getting stretched too thin by spirit. think that's where a lot of thought gets generated. Sometimes, you know, there's this, I mean, unless people have read Carlos's books, they probably won't understand much about this. There's this thing called losing the human form. Right? And in losing that human form, it's not just an idea or a concept. It happens on a physical level, on a mental level, emotional, spiritual, and all the other levels in between and around. I have felt myself, when that starts to happen, that I am being a little stretched too thin. And so my mind starts to compensate for the, I wouldn't say fear, but for the dread I'm feeling. The mind will start to compensate for that. Right? It might compensate in get in the car and go out to the bar and just be around people. It could do it in, man, if I buy a new shirt, I'll be happy. I mean, it goes in all kinds of directions. I need a bag of chips. I mean, it goes all over. You never know, you know, how it's reacting to it. You just find yourself doing something. It takes, you know, a real strong intent to see the workings behind what you're doing. You gotta really want to know that in order to get through that, have control over that. It takes a, I mean, holy moly. The amount of energy, courage, just downright patience it takes to figure out the workings behind what you do. For real. Not what you think, not your idea of it, because that can turn out to be wrong quite frequently. To know. Beyond even knowing. Not even to know. To feel. That's tough. It's and in this world, if anybody, you know, has any fear of being looked down upon by anybody in this world, well, I mean, you're half crippled. Half crippled already. Now try to do it. Then be afraid of your own life, of how you're living your own life. Now you're completely crippled. Imagine living like that. Imagine having to live like that. It's just scary. Yeah, there it is. But, I mean, the level of just sheer, utter bravery it takes to truly see what's going on behind what we do. Most people can't take that at all. And I do say most. It's not judging it. It's just been my experience. I mean, there's been a lot of people who were very, very potent teachers who aren't teachers anymore. I mean, don't kid yourself. This is not a given. You may not, and people may not make it this lifetime or any other lifetime. It's not like it's preordained that you will bask in the glory of your own being. As long as there's free will, that's up in the air. To the very last minute, it's up in the air. There's no guarantee. There's been plenty of people I've met who could wield power. Wow. They could wow you in ways